Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds. Country Cold Store's warehouse operation Mini Mart, island-wide sales and delivery services will be closed on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, due to a general staff meeting. Normal operations resume on Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Reminder, Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, Country Cold Store will be closed due to a general staff meeting.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Need a personal integrity booster shot? Your prescription is right here. Tune in with Eddie Frederick every week. Information is power.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
You're listening to Eddie Frederick, where good values make great radio.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's a plum pleasing pleasure to be here with you once more. And of course, we have some time ahead of us. Lots of turkeys to fry today, but today's topic is going to be very motivational, revealing, and of course, inspirational to all of you. Welcome to Edification 301, the second for 2026 thus far. And of course, this being the first month of the second quarter of the 21st century, this year seems to race on already, like nobody's business. Let me issue the usual reminder to each and every one of you, or valued listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call yourself, subscribers, followers, and edifiers. As soon as you join, please remember to share, comment, like, love, follow, subscribe, do what you do best. Just interact fully as you're used to, so that we can make this edition as memorable as possible. Today's discussion will be guided by, of course, the following. The truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. Just before elaborating on this topic today, though, I want to share a few good things that are happening around us. You know, things happening, good things are happening around us. Our Yuletide season is finally over, and we are back to normal to proceed to take what is ours for this new year. But I just want to share a couple highlights of my Christmas season, so to speak. During the week leading up to Christmas, I was invited to breakfast to break bread with a couple of friends at their home in the St. George's area, where I was advised upon our commencement of having that breakfast meal that I'm the first person, and may just be the only person outside of family, who has been and may be invited to their home since they moved in. Because of how special they view our friendship, I only had to respond with, wow. Wow, that's all I could have said. I always tell you folks, be true to yourself, because the very same thing people may not like you for is usually the very same thing others love and adore you for. You see, you should really focus on what turns your light on and feels right to you and for you. Stay in your lane. Mind your business. Put your head together, folks, with the experience of having a delightful breakfast with two special people on Christmas morning, the wonderful and majestic Spice Island Beach Resort, where the entire team warmly greeted us with genuine smiles and Christmas cheer, without giving the impression, of course, when you go elsewhere on Christmas Day, you get that impression, because I have done that in the past, and you feel it, you see it, and people don't realize they give off vibes, they give off frequencies, and the energies that they give off don't lie. But at Spice, oh man, no impression was picked up that they were not happy to work on that generally accepted day as a special day for us all. Imagine that session lasted a whopping 3 hours. Could you imagine that? With great conversation, of course, the best company, the finest atmosphere in Grenada. Could you imagine that? What could one ask more for than that? You see, God is really great indeed. All we can say is, may the God of our universe continue to bless the owners, management, and entire team at our flagship of accommodation, our world-famous 5-diamond, 6-star diamond Spice Island Beach Resort, for always delivering at the highest level. And you know what that ought to make us proud of? The fact that it is totally locally owned, totally locally managed, totally locally staffed, and totally locally trained. What a symbol of national pride and independence. Could you imagine further having to jet off to the airport to collect a very dear friend on Christmas Day, coming in from the cold to spend some time in the warmth of our weather? And I get the opportunity to host this person on Christmas Day with an elaborate spread of a lunch at a nearby home of a man and his dear wife whose friendship is beyond close. Just about every conscious moment I had during that experience, I found myself thanking my God for the opportunity he blessed me with to be thus surrounded and insulated so properly in my life with the right energy, the right vibes, and the right frequency. My Christmas was to die for. This is what happens, folks, when you make up your mind to travel light, totally devoid of any niggler in between. You know, as a niggler, something that just bothers you and irks you. And even though it's little, it still is disturbing. Well, folks, you got to try to travel light so that you too can be devoid of any of those nigglers in between. No encumbrances whatsoever. God is great. Folks, I am sure you do not have to look too far for what you are thankful for today. What I have noticed because of my penchant to pay attention is the fact that, notwithstanding my filters are to be considered completely off, the very few close friends continue to dig their heels in with me, enjoying the class clown faculties I possess that only the privileged will get to enjoy exclusively. Would you be able to fathom receiving a Christmas morning text that reads in the following way? It only dawned on me 2 days ago that I received this text, and maybe I should share it. Dear Mr. Frederick, Merry Christmas. You deserve some time off because of all that you do. My household follows you on social media, and all we can say is that for a man who obviously does a lot of thinking, we appreciate you and wish you well during the season, and trust and pray that the new year will bring you renewed resolve to deliver even more to us, the willing to imbibe. I once heard a prominent Grenadian refer to you as a rare national treasure, and I could not agree more. I see people calling you professor. Others call you sir. Because of your work, you are regarded as a customer service czar and motivation guru. Your consistency over the years has helped to change and shape lives among us in ways unimaginable. Do not doubt for a moment the influence you have on others through your consistency. I recall being a waiter at Spice eons ago, when I could not smile properly because of widespread cavities. As assistant manager, then you called me in your office to have a private chat about the solution, the terms for which I accepted, and the rest is history. Stage one was extraction and replacement with dentures. I have news for you, as today I was able to replace those dentures with implants, enabling me to smile even more confidently today. It was because of you I got back my pride and went on to move mountains in the hospitality field internationally. I know that I was not the only one you helped in similar ways. Since back then, I considered you a kingmaker, whom I am sure not many looked back to say as much as thank you to. I thank God that I stayed in touch, as my upbringing would have been betrayed. Keep flying high, Mr. Fred, with your frankness, which I know is coming from a good place. Happy New Year to you, sir. Folks, in response to this, all I can say is that when one's intentions are clean and honorable, you really do not lose people. You get realigned. People with impure intentions cannot remain in the presence of someone who is genuine and conscious enough to reinforce his or her boundaries in the process. You see, clean intentions actually expose the ingenuine. It convicts them. It makes them considerably uncomfortable. The presence of a person with genuinely clean intentions requires honesty. Theirs, on the other hand, requires ego. But ego always flees when your presence is felt in a room, and hence you do not lose them. Instead, they just lose a person who meant well. Folks, allow me to further share additional developments and experiences over the past week that serve to give me a bit of hope for our future. You see, things are really happening indeed. Remember, I always say, we see what we look for. I set out to town on Tuesday last to tidy up a few loose ends to put me instead for this spanking new year. The experience was to die for. My experience at the Inland Revenue Department was exceptionally good, both at the General Inquiry Desk and the Police Department, related to traffic and driver's licenses. Good things are happening around us. The male security guard at the Inland Revenue Department in that W.E. Julian's building in downtown St. George's, he is a gem indeed. Of course, he worked with the Hopkins years ago. And even though he must have had it in him also, the best in him was further enhanced by his inclusion as part of the Hopkins culture of excellence. That is why it is important for us to be careful who we associate with, whether by way of work or by way of play. His hospitable nature serves to relax customers who may feel a sense of exhaustion and confusion upon entering. He directs each customer so well and with fanfare. I wish I knew his name to celebrate him properly here today. But join me, please, folks, in congratulating him on his steadfast love for what he does and the great treatment he metes out to customers of this important government revenue collection office, or collection point for that matter. Folks, join me in repeating this particular congratulatory message to him. I'm just putting it in the comment section here for you so that you can cut and paste. And let's really let it resonate. Let us be grateful for these small mercies, because in the middle of our terrorism that we get for customer service in this Grenada, the whole length of Grenada, we have some pearls in between. Congratulations to the male security guard at the Inland Revenue Department's office in downtown St. George's. Come on, folks. Let us put that in the comment section. As many of you as possible. Come on, put it. Let's meaningfully congratulate him. Folks, the Ariza car park attendant at the back of Ariza's headquarters on Bruce Street. Oh, he's another bright spark that comes in for great mention. He pays attention and is very consistent with his selflessness when it comes to pleasing his customers. I've never used that car park and not be well attended to and treated with the utmost of respect. He does not pick and choose how he treats with other regular customers either who use that facility. And that measures his passion for serving people. Let's congratulate him too You see, for the many of you who are singularly focused on money being the mark of your success, let me remind you of the other 7 dimensions that total 8 dimensions of success. These dimensions of success reflect a holistic framework that emphasizes balance across different areas of life, recognizing that true success isn't just about career achievement or financial gain, but about thriving in all key aspects of human well-being. They are physical, emotional, social, spiritual, intellectual, occupational, that's by way of career and work, financial, environmental, 8 in all. But please note that financial comes in 7th, not 1st. So for those of you who chase money like it can replace oxygen, think again. Because when you lack any of the other 7 dimensions, you are nothing, as we see among us with many of the people who have money or chase money, but they lack integrity. Folks, truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. Wrong people make your life feel heavy for no reason. Not because life is hard, but because they keep adding weight. They add doubt when you need clarity. They add noise when you need focus. They add drama when you need peace. So if you're tired all the time, don't just push harder. Change the people around you. Truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway, and you'll see how quick they all will drop off, fall off. Let's take a little break, and we'd come right back with more fire after this.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during EDDIE-FICATION are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds. Country Cold Store's warehouse operation, mini mart, island-wide sales and delivery services will be closed on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, due to a general staff meeting. Normal operations resume on Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Reminder, Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, Country Cold Store will be closed due to a general staff meeting.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Yes, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for joining. For those of you who are just joining us, it's better late than dead on time. So we're happy to have you, but you know where your position is at the back of the class. So welcome once again. Folks, Socrates did not just dislike democracy. He actually feared that democracy could destroy society. Look at how many societies are being destroyed, are turning sort of decree, if you will, because of democracy. You see, democracy itself presupposes its participants are intelligent, not stupid, not dunce, not foolish, because democracy is serious business. Socrates' argument was not all opinions are equal. You wouldn't let a random person perform surgery on you. You would choose a trained surgeon. So why then allow uninformed masses to decide how to run an entire civilization? Interestingly, the Muslims believe the closest to the best system of election for any leader is the way the Catholic Church chooses a pope. Could you imagine that? The cardinals chosen to be in the Electoral College of the Vatican are well-learned men, scholars, and they represent all the corners of the world where the church exists. They are the chosen representatives of each constituency, if you will, to make an educated choice among them for their leader. They do not allow the rabble to make such important decision for them so that they can be reduced to a transactional arrangement as political democracy has slid to become. Oh no. When you see the Pope is elected, the Pope comes out regally as a champion, because he is a champion among champions. Forget about what else you think about the Catholic Church. We're not discussing that. We're discussing this. One issue at a time. You see, democracy gives the same power to someone who studied governance for decades and to someone who never thought about it at all. You see, Socrates said this leads politicians to stop speaking the truth and start telling the people whatever they want to hear. Whoever promises the easiest solutions wins, not because they are right, but because they are popular. You see, democracy ends up rewarding emotion over reason. And then what happens? Reason becomes unimportant. We see it here today. Look at some of the opposition politicians are not getting no traction at all. Look at who they're hugging up and kissing and loving up. And you see, it is quite desperate acts to appease people who don't know better, who don't pay attention, who don't realize that they're just do good. And there might be a large swath of people enough to make a difference. And that is what makes democracy in its present construct dangerous. So democracy ends up rewarding emotion over reason and noise over wisdom. And the irony is, Athens, the birthplace of democracy, ended up sentencing Socrates to death by a democratic vote. You see, the system killed the man who challenged it. Just like today, the way democracy operates here in our neck of the woods, the people who demand higher standards and better quality of representation are the ones, fake profiles and dunderheads, attempt to vilify and malign constantly, while staying in the dark, of course. Interestingly, while they have to make up things on the people who openly challenge them and their nonsense, their very lives can be destroyed by truth. I firmly agree that democracy presupposes its participants are intelligent. And if they are not, they have no darn right to participate in it. Let's shift gear here a bit to talk a little bit or to share a little bit of enlightenment as it relates to a very current and burning issue, the Venezuela-US situation. Folks, that requires some measure of study, not dunce talk, not wanton, careless AI sharing of nonsense. Oh no. That situation requires proper study. When I woke up to the news on Saturday, January 3rd, that Venezuela's strongman Nicolas Maduro was captured in an early morning US commando raid on Caracas, I could not help but wonder why they found it necessary to take his wife with him. I started to do some research on Celia Flores de Maduro. So who is Celia Flores? And why was she taken along with her husband, President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela? You see, through the power of recall and extensive research, I was able to put a few areas together as it relates to the woman at the side of the Venezuelan president as his wife, and therefore, of course, First Lady of Venezuela. She was highly regarded as one of the most powerful and controversial figures in the Maduro regime. Officially, she's a lawyer and, of course, a politician. Her rise to power came with a very unusual and strange explosion of wealth and influence that just never was a match for her official pay. You see, at one point, Celia Flores was the Attorney General of Venezuela, and she became the President of the National Assembly. She is seen as the actual power behind Maduro's throne. There is, of course, a reason why she was taken along with Nicolas Maduro. Officially, her net worth is put at a few million US dollars based on her government salary. But her extravagant lifestyle and her luxurious living definitely did not match up with the official reporting. If you recall, in 2015, two of her own nephews were arrested trying to smuggle 800 kilos of cocaine into the United States. You remember when it was reported that they told FBI agents that the reason they were doing it was to raise money so their family can stay in power in Venezuela. Celia Flores has also been accused of nepotism, putting her family into key government positions. She developed an entire political network that was dubbed the Flower Shop. That network of her friends and family would help her control contracts, jobs, and ultimately power. For a quick minute, take a look at Venezuela. Hyperinflation, grocery shortages, and there's no money of note within the economy. Yet their socialist leaders and the inner circle that they created were consistently accused of hiding money through various networks and influencing decisions that ultimately helped them in the long run, while the people had to scamper for crumbs. You see, that gap between official salary and alleged hidden wealth is the reason why Celia Flores had been the subject of so many corruption accusations and even investigations, and the reason why sanctions were placed upon her. I sure trust you are a lot clearer now as to why the wife was also taken with the husband. As to whether another country has a right to go and take another country's president, that's for another discussion. But we don't want to convolute this. I shared this to give you a little clarity. As I needed it, and it became clearer to me, I thought I should share it. Folks, according to J.J. Douglas, in his lighthouse principle, a lighthouse does not chase ships. It doesn't scream. It doesn't move. It just stands where it is built, and it is positioned there to shine. But here's the part that is a bit messed up if you don't quite understand it. Ships that need direction will find it. Ships that don't care will crash somewhere else. For far too long, some of us have not been a lighthouse. We were rescue boats. We chased after people in storms they kept choosing. We explained ourselves to people who already decided not to understand. We overgave to prove that we were worthy of staying. And every time we did that, we thought we were being loving, understanding, and even loyal. But what we were really doing, in effect, was abandoning our own post. You see, there's another theory that nobody talks about. The more available you make yourself to people who are not anchored, the more they confuse access to you with value. You see, these people do not love the light. They love the convenience. So when you finally stopped chasing, when you finally stop overextending, when you finally stay still in who you were becoming, something uncomfortable happens. Some people naturally drift away. At first, it feels like failure, like loss, like rejection, until you come to realize something powerful. The folks who disappeared weren't rejecting you. Oh, no. They just never came for you in the first place. They came for the rescue you gave them. And the moment you stopped rescuing, their truth showed up. You don't lose people when you grow, folks. You lose roles. You lose the role of fixer. You lose the role of savior. You lose the role of emotion supplier. And when those roles fall away, only real connections remain. That's when your life gets quieter, cleaner, sweeter, and even more aligned. You see, the right people don't need you exhausted to stay. They don't need you overgiving to feel close. They don't need you shrinking or diluting yourself to feel secure around you. They are drawn to who you are and not only to what you provide. Too many people around us are only with you for what they can get. That is the main reason why I am always glad when the trash takes itself out. Because that becomes one less parasite as a person to leech on you. So if you are experiencing a season where people are drifting away from you, where things feel lonely, where you are questioning yourself if choosing yourself was worth it, listen and listen carefully. You are not losing your way. You're finally standing in your correct way. Stop chasing ships. Be the lighthouse. The ones meant to find you, trust me, folks, will stay. But while you are at it, I want you to always remember to stay away from people who don't like you, but still stick around you. That is the most dangerous group to find yourself in. They simply do not like you. They don't clap for you, nor do they support you. But they refuse to leave your space. Why? Because they want access to what they secretly envy in you. They study your moves so they can copy them. They stick around to see if you fail because they're wishing that. Such people are not capable of original thinking and thought. They wait for your success so they can say it will not last. These are the people who drain your energy. They ask questions, not to learn, but rather to compare and see if they are doing a little better than you. They smile to your face, but talk behind your back. God, Grenada, full of that. And that is why this place could never make much progress. We have too many deceitful, hypocritic nastinesses walking around on 2 feet with clothes properly dressed. They just do good. We need some redemption, folks. You see, real friends do not need to be in your space 24/7. They celebrate from a distance and show up when it actually matters. But the many fake friends that several of you have, they stay close to watch, but never close enough to genuinely help. Cut them off. Protect your circle. And in my case, your line, my line. The wrong people in your space will cost you a lot more than being alone ever could. Folks, these days the biggest snakes are not found in the grass. They are hiding in your family and friend groups. Nothing hurts like a friend enemy who present to love you. May their plans always fail against us. You see, whenever you experience someone getting defensive when you tell them the truth, know they are already guilty. You know they never argue facts. They argue your tone. They have no interest in fixing the problem. They attack how you said it, hoping the delivery distracts from the truth. But anyone afraid of accountability will always try to turn the truth teller into the problem. Let that sink in. Let it sink in, folks, because I live that every single day. And I don't give a damn. No amount of giving can satisfy an ungrateful heart. Ungratefulness, as popular as it is these days in Grenada, keep changing the measure. Today it is enough. tomorrow it is still not enough. So I beckon you, give with wisdom, serve with boundaries, protect your peace, and walk on without any guilt whatsoever. When you discover mixed signals from anyone, trust me, folks, it's actually your answer. And guess what? It's a no. Confusion is not affection, and inconsistency is not effort. If you like me, show it. When I do, I don't only say it as often as I usually do, but I show it always. If you do not like me, oh God, say that now. But please do not attempt to have me out here trying to guess your intentions like I'm solving a mystery nobody asked for. People will swear they care about you and then behave like you're an option. They treat you like an option. One day they're all in, and the next day they are so emotionally unavailable, blaming it on the moon or something. Nonsense. Here's the part that is even crazier for me. Mixed signals are not miscommunication. Oh no. Mixed signals are not miscommunication. They are indeed communication. What happened to you? You don't remember? You cannot not communicate. You're always communicating. You see, adults know how to be clear when it benefits them. If somebody really wants you, you will not have to beg for clarity or chase understanding. Some of us are holding on not because the person is consistent, but because our heart is familiar with disappointment. So inconsistency does not feel alarming. It feels normal, but normal does not mean healthy. And here's where the self-accountability comes in. You have to stop mistaking unpredictability for passion. You have to stop calling chaos chemistry. You have to stop letting people feed you crumbs, then convince yourself it was a full meal. The God of our universe never sends us mixed signals. People do that. Our God of our universe is clear. Our God operates with clarity. Our God is stable. Our God never confuses your spirit or plays with your emotions. Anything that feels like a guessing game, it did not come from our God. So from now on, if you have to guess, remember me, Eddie Frederick, telling you, it is a no. You deserve someone, I would say, who knows what they want and is not afraid to choose you out loud. Mixed signals, which are very popular among us today because of how hypocritic we have become and totally dishonest with one another. Whether in families, and that's a serious problem these days, a lot of people complaining about that. Families have become contaminated. They turn out sometimes to be your worst enemies. So whether in families, among friends, or even in the workplace, mixed signals is to be taken as a loud no. Stop trying to fool yourself otherwise. That is why I keep telling you, pay attention. You see, when people say karma is a bitch, trust me, they know what they're talking about. You know how often people who allow themselves to be recruited by others to hate me, and that's just an example, who manifest that hate by playing they are refusing to respond to my warm greeting in public spaces. Cold, especially in supermarkets. And instead they would watch me up and down venomously. You know how many of them end up being grateful and giving the painful, quote-unquote, hypocrite grin when I would have had to end up paying for them at the cashier. I can't count how many times that has happened because it's a lot. And all I can say is God is great indeed. Folks, truth may make you lonely today, but trust me, it will save you tomorrow. Do not fear losing people because of telling the truth. Fear instead losing yourself because you insist on participating in lies. Folks, the world is full of snakes these days. People are more fixed on material and monetary gains as against helping to make a life by contributing what they can and must to their environment to make it a stronger and better place in which to live. You see it all the time. A man give you something and he had to be all over Facebook doing live about it. That's disgusting. Folks, that's not being kind. That's being in business. It's quite obvious you're doing that with a benefit in mind. It's not genuine. Folks, you are able to spot the venom by paying attention to the vibrations, energies, and frequencies around you. You need to embark on a program of elimination immediately of the following. You see the silent hater who does not want what you have. They just hate that it's you who have it. Your continuous rise is taken as an insult to such people, the silent haters. What about the broadcaster? The one who gossips to you without you realizing that they gossip about you too. Because you become the immediate next victim or story. What about the fair weather friend who seems to love the shade but vanish in the heat? They're only loyal to the use they can make of you. But what about the poison well, who can find a problem for every solution, and their misery is very, very contagious? Do not allow yourself to get infected. The anchor who gave up on their dreams and spent their time trying to drown your dreams. They have a need for you to fail so they can feel safe. But what about the double agent? They smile in your face and sharpen the knife behind your back. They praise you publicly to hide the betrayal privately. So even though you need to be careful with enemies, you must be paranoid with your friends, because an enemy can never betray you. Only a friend can, because of his or her proximity to you. Folks, the uncomfortable truth. Why should it really offend anyone? You see, truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. When we come back, we have a lot more where this came from. So stay tuned. Let's take a little break.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned, where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during EDDIE-FICATION are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds. Country Cold Store's warehouse operation Mini Mart island-wide sales and delivery services will be closed on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, due to a general staff meeting. Normal operations resume on Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Reminder, Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, Country Cold Store will be closed due to a general staff meeting.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful. So this is our second segment that has just gone. We are entering our third segment. And if you behave good, we'll give you 5 segments today. So
This Christmas.
I'm kind of sorry Christmas is over. That's why I left that to play. I'm only sorry. Anyhow, folks, moving right along. What's up to all you truth seekers? But of course, we can't forget the chaos makers. Welcome back to the uncomfortable truth that continues to offend toxic people. Reason enough for us to keep speaking it anyway. We are continuing to dive headfirst into a phenomenon that you have continued to feel every day in your bones in our highly negative and toxic environment, nurtured by miscreants posing as leaders between 1995 and 2022 for the most part. And I want you to listen to me carefully, because these people who, while they were crafting what we are now exposed to as a decrepit civilization, totally mangled, they were having the time of their lives, only to find out when their time is over. They too are now part of a society that they detest. All the while, they project their failings on the current administration. Make that make sense for me, folks. Enjoying largesse while they feed the masses crumbs, place them on a vote farm to keep them perpetually in office with crumbs that they made the masses believe was a full meal. Now today, they're out in the cold. They're seeing all the flaws, but those were the seeds they sowed. and projecting the chaos and the mangled nonsense that they are rejecting today, projecting that on the government, the new government. Make that make sense? You just assume the role of speaking a clear, verifiable, undeniable fact, and you watch at their faces morph into a mask of pure, unadulterated offense. Isn't that something? Do so and like so. You see, not because you're wrong, but because you're right. You just happen to be the wrong person to them to be so frank and forthcoming. To them, people like me commit the ultimate social crime in a toxic world. You disrupted their narrative. You turned on a light in a room where people had lovingly decorated the darkness. You said the quiet part out loud, and the guardians of complicity are not happy. Our mantra today, our battle cry, truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. Do like me. Put yourself out to offend them. Let them go and make up stupidness about you, because they could only make up, fabricate nonsense, while you could kill them with the truth about themselves. But let's just look at the architecture of hypocrisy that fuels many people among us here today, folks. Let's look at that for a little bit. Let's just blueprint this for a minute. Hypocrisy isn't a bug in the system of toxic cultures. It is the operating system. It is a culture that says, be authentic, but only if your authenticity is palatable, profitable, and doesn't question the hierarchy. It screams accountability, but only for the people they've already decided to blame. You see, we see it everywhere. The gossip who preaches kindness, the bully who claims victimhood, the influencer selling a natural life from a face-tuned screen. But here's the kicker. The most dangerous form of this hypocrisy is the war on reality itself. Folks, it's not just do as I say, not as I do, It is believe as I say, not as the evidence shows. Why? Because truth is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about your seniority, your followers, your fragile ego. A fact is a fact. And to the toxic person who has built their identity, their power, and their comfort on the foundation of lies, that fact is a direct threat. It's not an opinion to be debated. It is an existential earthquake. When you stand your ground among fakes, holy moly, they detest you. Their response, classic. They don't attack the argument, they attack you. The truth teller becomes negative. You become divisive. You become a parasite. You become causing drama. You're too much. You see, the programmed response is to vilify the messenger. Because if they can discredit you, they can, in their mind, discredit the inconvenient truth you carry. Don't cower to them. Speak the truth anyway. What about the people who are programmed for ignorance through their love affair with lies? Of course, those people are worthy candidates of cults. How did we get here? How does a person develop a love for ignorance? That's not natural. It's manufactured. In the end, we can only conclude it is about programming. Think about it. From day one, We're fed narratives by family systems that say we don't talk about that, by institutions that prioritize reputation over integrity, by media ecosystems, especially the one as decrepit and weak as the one we have here, that profit from outrage and confirmation bias. Over years, this programming builds a comfortable cage. The bars are made of familiar lies. That is just how it is. Don't rock the boat. You think too much. You see, inside that cage, everything is predictable. Your enemies are defined. Your superiority is assured. Your cognitive dissonance is soothed. Then here comes the truth teller, not with a lock pick, but with a jackhammer to the entire structure. You see, the programmed mind doesn't see liberation. It sees annihilation. The lie isn't just a falsehood. It's a security blanket. And you, man, you're trying to take their blanket and replace it with a mirror. And they hate you for it. They embrace the lie because the lie is loyal. It conforms to their bias. It asks nothing of their growth. The truth demands change. The truth demands humility. The truth demands they admit, I was wrong. I was fooled. I need to do better. And you see, for the toxic ego, that is a fate worse than being foolish. Thank God for the few who have been transforming one at a time. But speaking the truth anyway, folks, could become that antidote that we're looking for. So what do? We speak it anyway. But let's be strategic. It isn't about being a truth bulldozer, blasting unsolicited facts at your aunt's afternoon tea time or tea lime. Oh no, this is about integrity over approval. You see, your truth must be anchored, not in emotion, but in evidence, in data, in your lived authentic experience. You can't be swayed by their theatrics. Detach from the need for their acceptance. When you speak a hard truth, you are offering a gift. They have every right to refuse it. Your peace comes from having offered it, not from their accepting it. We need to understand the difference between a teachable moment and a programmed fortress. You see, some people have their drawbridge or bridges up and archers on the wall. Don't siege the castle, folks. State your truth calmly. Walk away from the battlefield. Your silence after speaking can be more powerful than their tantrum. Find your tribe, whether it is your circle, your line, or your dot. Speaking truth is a toxic system. In a toxic system, can make you feel crazy. Oh yes. You know what you need to do, folks? Gravitate to other crazy ones, the ones who also see it. That reinforcement could become your oxygen. Speaking truth in a toxic system usually make people like us, frank people, feel sometimes you say, well, what's going on here? Is it just me alone I'm feeling? I wonder if, hello? No. Go and look for more crazy people like yourself. Those are the ones you should associate with, the people who think like you. Because it is the rest that not going nowhere. Folks, you never see an image of a procession to hell as against a procession to heaven. One people going in the lane that is leading to heaven. Find your tribe, if even is one by one. Always remember there's room at the top, always. It is the bottom that is overcrowded. You don't want to be there. So every time you speak the truth that costs you social capital, you withdraw your consent from the machine of hypocrisy. You become a living, breathing counter-narrative. You prove that the emperor has no damn clothes. And even if the crowd chooses to praise the invisible fabric, you know you have no damn clothes. And you're free to say so. The truth is resilient, folks. It might be suppressed, ignored, or even shouted down today, but it has a half-life that outlasts any lie. It echoes. The truth lingers in the quiet moments of the people who heard you. It plants a seed of what if. You see, your words might be the crack in someone's programming that lets the light in weeks, months, or even years later. So when you feel that pressure to stay silent, to cozy back up to the collective lie, I want you to remember, the offense of a toxic person is not a sign you're wrong. It's a receipt, proof of purchase. It is the evidence that you struck a nerve at the core of the falsehood. They are offended by the truth? Good. Let them be. Let them sit in their offended state and pine away. You have a world to help build, one uncomfortable truth at a time. Folks, I am happy to be the one reminding you. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Speak with clarity, with compassion for those who are ready, and with zero apology for the fact that you refuse to live in the dark with all other hypocrites. And stay boldly, unapologetically true. Did I tell you? The truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. Let's take a little break and we come back to segment 4.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds. Country Cold Store's warehouse operation Mini Mart island-wide sales and delivery services will be closed on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, due to a general staff meeting. Normal operations resume on Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Reminder, Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, Country Cold Store will be closed due to a general staff meeting.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we're back again with segment 4. For those of you just joining us, I want to, thank you for taking time to be with us today. We have a very provocative subject. The truth offends toxic people. Keep speaking it anyway. So, without any further ado, we have lots of ground to cover today. You see, last week I shared some snippets regarding 5 government MPs. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, Andy J. Williams, Delma Thomas, Ron Reddit, and Tevin Andrews. The feedback was to die for, especially as the perspectives shared were different. You see, after taking some time speaking with people of all kinds, levels, and of course interests, I was able to glean the following on my chosen 2 government MPs for this week. We'll start with Dennis Cornwall, the St. Patrick East MP on the NDC ticket and current Minister of Finance. You see, he's widely regarded as the keeper of the covenant. In the architecture of Deacon Mitchell's administration, if the Prime Minister is the visionary architect and the Minister of MIT is the project manager, then the MP Dennis Cornwall, Member of Parliament for St. Patrick East and Minister of Finance, is the chief estimator and steward of the covenant or the contract. His role is fundamental and also very foundational. His role is unglamorous and utterly critical. He's the guardian of the nation's treasury, who must fund the revolution of integrity and transformation, all while assuring both international markets and Grenadian households that the nation's finances are in sober, responsible hands and totally removed from the sticky hands of the period 1995 to 2022 for the most part. Cornwall's political persona is the antithesis of flamboyance. He exudes a calm, almost understated demeanor that speaks of spreadsheets, forecasts, long-term balance. His appointment as finance minister was a signal to the country and, of course, the world that the NDC's bold promises would be pursued with fiscal orthodoxy and disciplined pragmatism. He represents the necessary counterweight, to pure political ambition. The voice that asks, how do we pay for it? And what is the sustainable path? In the earthy, hard-working constituency of St. Patrick East, Cornwall's representation reflects his ministerial temperament. He's not a politician of grand gestures. Oh no, but a steady advocate. His focus has been on championing the economic engines of the parish: agriculture, fisheries, agro-processing, understanding that St. Patrick's prosperity is tied to the soil and the sea. He just has to find a way to motivate his parishioners to get up and stop accepting the less than acceptable perception that people have of them. His success in the constituency is built on a reputation for being a man of his word, a listener, and an advocate who works the system methodically to secure resources for roadworks, agricultural inputs, and community projects. He wins trust not through charisma, but through a perceived reliability and competence. His can be referred to as steady hands, steering and steady hands. Minister of Finance, Cornwall stepped into one of the most challenging roles in any post-pandemic government globally. This was made even more difficult coming from an overextended period of visionless miscreants parading as keepers of the people's purse. His tenure has been defined by several key interconnected missions. One, restoring fiscal credibility and trust. His primary task has been to rebuild confidence in the government's management of public funds. The government's management of public funds. This involves implementing robust transparency measures, strengthening procurement processes, and ensuring that the budget is not a wish list, but a credible, executable document. He is the operational lead on the administration's core promise to break the cycle of financial mismanagement and opaque dealings, as was commonplace to the last administration. 2, funding the transformation. You see, the ambitious agendas of MIT health, infrastructure, even education require strategic allocation. Cornwall's role is to find the fiscal space through careful debt management, seeking concessional financing, and boosting revenue collection to make these transformative investments possible without crippling the treasury. He is the enabler-in-chief of the government's policy agenda. What about the third area here that speaks to navigating global headwinds, of which we have a lot? In an era of high global inflation and economic uncertainty, his job is to shield the Grenadian economy as much as possible and to guide it towards resilient, inclusive growth. This involves difficult balances, supporting genuinely vulnerable citizens through well-meaning social programs, while maintaining fiscal discipline, incentivizing private investment, while ensuring fair taxation. The fourth area is the communication challenge. You see, finance is inherently complex. Cornwall's low-key technical style, while reassuring to investors, can sometimes fail to translate government's difficult choices or hard-won successes into a narrative the average citizen feels and understands. This is his perennial, enduring challenge. You see, the 2027 imperative, from steward to storyteller, to secure St. Patrick's East once more and solidify the government's record, MP Cornwall must master a dual narrative. He has to link the ledger to lives in his St. Patrick East constituency. He must become a more effective storyteller in his constituency, directly connecting his national fiscal management to local outcomes. For example, because we carefully managed the national debt, we secured the funding for, let's say, a new fishing complex in whatever area. Folks, that's just an example. Our disciplined budget allowed us to increase the allocation to farm roads. Again, that's just an example. He must make the national balance sheet feel personal and beneficial to the fisherman, the farmer, and the small business owner in his constituency. What about visible, tangible parish investment? Beyond storytelling, the constituency must see and feel the results of his advocacy. Accelerating key parish-specific projects in infrastructure and agricultural support is critical, very crucial. His re-election campaign must be able to point to concrete deliverables financed through his prudent stewardship. What about embodying the anchor? In a noisier political world, Cornwall's sustained calm demeanor can be his greatest strength. The narrative should position him as the indispensable anchor of the administration, the man whose steady hands prevent the ship of state from capsizing in turbulent waters during these geopolitical uncertainties. In St. Patrick, this should translate to being seen as the reliable, honest broker who may not shout the loudest, but who delivers with integrity. He is really the guarantor of the promise. So MP Cornwall, Dennis Cornwall, may not dominate the headlines with his flashy speeches, but in the quiet corridors of the Ministry of Finance, he's doing the most vital work of guaranteeing that the Deacon Mitchell administration's promise of a new type of politics is fiscally credible and sustainable. He is the keeper of the national covenant, ensuring that the break from the past is not just rhetorical, but rooted in transparent, responsible economics. You see, the supportive narrative for 2027 is clear. Dennis Cornwall is the sober guardian of Grenada's future. A vote for him is a vote for stability amidst change, for integrity in public accounts, and for the careful stewardship that ensures today's transformation does not become tomorrow's debt burden. He is the steady hand on the nation's purse strings, ensuring that every dollar of the people's sweat works for the people's future. In the journey to build a new Grenada, he is the one ensuring we can afford that trip. But our next government MP, chosen for mention today, Karine James, the youthful MP from St. John, who narrowly won that seat in last election. I like to consider her the rising tide in this new dispensation. You see, in the rugged, politically nuanced landscape of St. John, a constituency historically defined by its fierce independence, razor-thin electoral margins, a new political force has emerged. MP Karine James did not just win a seat in the 2022 general election. She narrowly conquered a fortress, securing a pivotal victory for the NDC that helped cement the party's national mandate. Her story is not one of inherited political capital, but of a youthful, relentless campaign that has ushered in a new sort of what you call generation of representation. However, her narrow margin is both a testament to her skill and a constant reminder of the work ahead. making her one of the administration's most closely watched and critical frontline MPs. In fact, the missteps of the now opposition, and their lack for and of talent in St. John area push parishioners to wonder, where are they going with the expired caretaker who was defeated by her in the last contest? Her victory was a masterclass in grassroots mobilization and personal touch. James, often underestimated due to her youth and gender, in a traditionally tough parish, campaigned with an energy that turned the constituency into a door-to-door laboratory of the NDC's mobilization ethos under the fresh, new, and meaningful Deacon Mitchell leadership. You see, she connected with young voters, galvanized women, and presented herself not as a distant politician, but as a relatable community advocate. Her win was a break from the past, signaling St. John's openness to new kind of leadership, focused on inclusion and direct engagement. The Republic of Guave is truly invested in her for the future. You see, she is a diligent advocate based on her performance in Parliament and the constituency. Since her election, I would say James has carried the weight of her narrow mandate with a measure of diligence. In Parliament, she is a consistent and vocal presence, often speaking on issues of youth development, gender equality, social empowerment. She has avoided the temptation to be silent as a backbencher, instead using her platform to advocate for national policies that resonate locally. She serves as a living bridge between the government's transformative agenda and the aspirations of Grenada's youth. In St. John's, her approach remains deeply rooted in service, understanding that her hold on the seat is tenuous. She has been increasing her visibility in the constituency, having settled down in her climate change portfolio in the Cabinet of Ministers. Her focus has been on responsive service, addressing individual concerns, championing local infrastructure needs like road repairs and community facilities, and ensuring that the government's social support programs are effectively accessed by her constituents. She works to prove that her election was not a fluke, but a mandate for attentive, accessible representation. But what would be the critical path for 2027? She needs to consolidate a new coalition. The narrow win defines Karen James's entire political trajectory. To shore up the seat in 2027, her strategy must be one of strategic consolidation and demonstrable delivery. Here is the path I would like to suggest to her. From advocate to architecture of local projects, she must transition from being an effective responder to needs to being an undisputed architect of a visible constituency-specific development victory. This means identifying one or two high-impact, tangible projects. Could have been or completed community center, an upgraded health station, a youth skills training hub, and driving them to completion with relentless focus. She needs a signature achievement to point to. You see, depending on youth and women's, youth and women's alliance, that's another point of contention. You see, her natural base is her superpower. She must institutionalize her connection with young people. And of course, women in St. John, through formalized mentorship programs, regular policy fora, and by securing opportunities, internships, grants, training, specifically channeled to these groups. They must feel that her presence in Parliament directly translates to expanded possibilities for them. But she also has to make an effort to win over skeptics with substance. To broaden her coalition beyond her initial base, she must engage the parish's traditional stakeholders, farmers, fishermen, small business owners, and even young people of school-leaving age, with a substantive, non-partisan approach. You see, hosting sector-specific meetings, delivering on agricultural access roads, and advocating for their interests in cabinet will be crucial to convincing skeptics that her youth is an asset of energy, not a liability of inexperience. While not a senior minister, her position within the ruling administration is a key advantage. She must expertly leverage her access, acting as a powerful conduit to ensure St. John is not overlooked in the allocation of resources and projects from line ministries like infrastructure, agriculture, MIT. I consider Corinne James a frontline warrior for a new generation. She represents a new face of the NDC, young, female, energetic, and victorious in the battleground seat. Her narrative is one of high potential and high stakes. She's a frontline warrior in the government's effort to expand and solidify its political map. Every day of her term is a campaign day, knowing from whence she came with a slim majority. You see, the supportive narrative for 2027 must highlight her dual role. She's both the voice of a generation in national politics and the diligent caretaker of St. John's specific needs. Her re-election would be a powerful affirmation that grassroots, principled mobilization can create lasting change. It would prove also that her narrow win was the beginning of a new enduring tide in St. John's politics. The task ahead is immense, but in Corinne James, the NDC has a standard bearer whose very presence symbolizes the transformative future the party promises. If she can turn her fragile beachhead into an unshakable foundation, let's continue to stand in the gap with her. We just have to stand in the gap with her. Folks, the truth offends toxic people. And my advice to you, keep speaking it anyway. We'll take a little break here, folks, and we'll come right back with a very short fifth segment. So hold tight. We're very much on our way.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Okay, folks, we'll cut that right there because we don't want to be too overextended today. So, folks, as I get ready to close, I want to address an area that lots of us do not like to talk about. You see, J.J. Douglas refers to it as the avoidant people. They do not hate intimacy. They're just overwhelmed by it. You see, real closeness requires presence, consistency, and vulnerability. And for some people, that doesn't feel like love. It feels like pressure. So when you show up genuine, open, and emotionally available, they don't receive it as care. They receive it as something they might lose control over. And here's where it gets sort of painful. The person on the other side, the one who knows how to love deeply, often starts trying to help. They explain more. They are so soft on themselves and become patient in ways that slowly start costing them. You start thinking that if I love them correctly, if I don't trigger them, if I stay calm enough, they'll finally feel safe. You see, some things are really not yours to fix. And the sooner we get that into our thick skulls, the better for many of us. Avoidance is not healed by reassurance. It is healed by self-awareness, by inner work, by someone choosing to face what they've been running from. Love alone cannot do that for them. And that's the hardest truth. Folks, you can love someone and still have to let them go, you know. That doesn't say the love wasn't real. But because the relationship required you to abandon yourself, that's why you could love them but still have to let them go. Letting go without regret doesn't mean the connection meant nothing. Oh no, it means you're honoring reality instead of potential. Remember, potential is just a sign that this person has more to give, even if the reality is that they are giving less or nothing at all. You see, many people today are not meant to be held closer. They are meant to be released with due compassion, but released nonetheless. Choosing yourself in that moment is not giving up on love. It is protecting your capacity to love again. Anyone who can meet you in the same place you stand within your boundaries, in your lane. No need to harden your heart. No need to erase the love you felt. You just have to try to stop healing other people's wounds, which were never yours to carry. That kind of letting go isn't loss. It is actually wisdom. So living in a calm situation where no distractions exist, while craving more peace to fuel that rare happiness that we seek in this short life, takes us to a graduated level of appreciating lots of things in life. In fact, one of the things I came to realize is that when someone is speaking badly about you, that is actually a good thing. If someone is trying to distance themselves from you right now, trust me, this is a good sign. If all of a sudden a business deal at this time fell apart, this is a good sign. If you're not invited to places where your friends are being invited to, this is also a very good sign. It is such a great sign that this is actually the season where the creator of our universe comes to protect you. You see, the way you see miracles is by receiving assistance from above and to let go of old soul contracts. Folks, let go of relationships that have been keeping you small. Let go of relationships that have been forcing you to be and even remain someone who you no longer want to be. Let go, surrender, and feel whole inside, complete, that is. This is the time that the Creator is helping you to elevate to the next level of your destiny. When you come to that realization, you will know that you are functioning at a dangerously high level of frequency indeed. You're very much on your way to total freedom. I received this from a very dear friend as recently as yesterday, folks. You cannot wish for strong character and an easy life, for the price of each is the other. You cannot wish for a strong character and an easy life, for the price of each is the other. Let me put that in the comment section here for you, because this is so poignant. It is so important. A quote. Dissect it, look through it, and you'll see how much sense it makes. You see, out of sight, out of mind, that works wonders for me. This is a strength few people have, and must thank the God of our universe for that. This is not to be expressed in a dramatic manner at all. It is to be expressed in deed, while being in a calm and claiming your saneness way. Isn't that? Some of us need to learn that we do not need to be everywhere. We don't need to know everything, because everything is not meant for us to know. I don't need to be involved because I am invited. I choose where I go. And if the elements do not align with my vibrations, energies, and frequencies that I currently operate at, I stay where I am at peace, happy, and free. Where is that? At home. And enjoy my own company. You see, I love staying to myself because my mind runs clearer that way. I mind my business and do what I have to do, because peace shows up when I do, and I have worked hard for that. A lot of chaos comes from being too accessible, too available, too invested in things that don't actually require me. So I move quieter now. I'm not hiding, not disappearing, just focused on my life, my spirit. So I move much quieter now. I shall not trade that for anything. And no one will ever get me to compromise on that, whether family members, close friends, colleagues. No one, absolutely no one. I am focused on my life, my growth, and my lane. And the more I stay in my own lane, the less confused I feel, the less emotional weight I carry. That was never mine to hold in the first place. The less explaining I have to do. I chase no updates. I only entertain necessary conversations. I have an interest in politics, current affairs that make sense, and of course, areas that pertain to self-development. I do not have to explain why I do not show up the same way anymore. Done with that. Been there, done that, and it's just different now. Different. So, once you grow, you realize that not everything deserves your energy, and not everyone deserves access to you. Some people ask me, why not get involved in elective politics? And as Mr. Alan Bierzinski, former chairman and managing director of Hubbard's, once said in response to that same question, I do not like the people that much. Could you imagine how much more appropriate that response is today, when the people show us how much more deteriorated they have become over time? You see, some people call that distance and refer to frank people like me as crass. I call it discipline. No guessing around me. I have been a great learner from my mistakes, and God knows there were many. You see, being involved in everything pulls you away from yourself, pulls you away from the master. Your life is based on reacting instead of living, responding instead of choosing. Folks, I invite you to do likewise and choose peace over proximity, clarity over curiosity, privacy over proving anything. Because once you realize how much energy you save by not inserting yourself into everything, you stop feeling guilty for choosing a simpler life. Less noise, less access, more clarity. This isn't me checking out. This is me checking in with myself. And honestly, this way of living works. Out of sight, out of mind. It works. Trust me. This year, I invite you folks to make it about you. Not in a conniving way, but in a way that shows self-awareness, self-growth, self-actualization. You see, 2026 can be yours to grow and achieve. But you have to mind your own business and stay in your lane. Then you can graduate to giving life to today's topic, today's subject. The truth offends toxic people, and you can keep speaking it anyway. Folks, I'm in, I'm out, and I'm gone. Thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time and same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, remain vigilant, and stay lifted. Stay focused while you're at it. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, share. Come on, folks. Follow. And be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins as directly as I deliver them to you. So until next time, stay curious, stay frank. And for goodness sake, remember to set your boundaries. 2026 is ours for the taking. But for it to be yours for the taking, my last admonition is to mind your business. Folks, take care of your wonderful selves. Have a great week. And whatever you do, remember, do it with love and do it for Grenada.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy.
I want want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds. Country Cold Store's warehouse operation, Mini Mart, island-wide sales and delivery services will be closed on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, due to a general staff meeting. Normal operations resume on Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Reminder, Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, Country Cold Store will be closed due to a general staff meeting.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Need a personal integrity booster shot? Your prescription is right here. Tune in with Eddie Frederick every week. Information is power.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.